make that about, is that E? I think, okay.
Okay, good.
All right. All right. I'm going to focus on what you do during the 5 chords. Okay, when you're playing a blues in A. Okay, you've got all the usual chord shapes. Now you've got your open one. We'll ignore that one for just a second. So if you're playing around form 1 major down here, and then when the D comes, if you're not doing an arp on D, if you're just doing major minor, you got your form 5. These are just simple things, not licks of any fanciness, you know. So you're playing around that area. The E, the 7 chord, 5-7 is that shape, which not a lot of players play. But you got some nice little double stops in there. You got this one that everybody knows. You don't want to dig in too hard though, you only got 4 seconds. So, but anyway, it's there. The arp for that is very good, you only got 4 seconds. I'll play in time with my drummer. You got Mixolydian over that. Okay, just fool around with that a little bit so that when you're playing around here for form 1 major, form 5 for the minor, for the 4 chord, then when your E moment comes, if you're in this area, right, you got something you can do with confidence, not have to go way up here and leave town. Now, when you're playing, most common place for A blues is here. Most people just dig right into form 1, but if you're trying to play the major, whether you're using this position or if you're going form 2 was the first choice, and then when the D comes, you go to form 1 minor. So you might be playing but you might see that D and think, oh, I'm going to play a little bit of the arp there, and go. So that's a little bit of the. You can see that form 1 overlays that arp for that D pretty nicely, so it's tempting to want to blend the two, and I do. And you can throw in your but you might want to stop on that note because you're on a D chord at that moment, right? So that's the catch. If you're going to overlay form 1 with the D arp, D7 arp, sorry, you're going to make sure you land on a note that's in that chord, but get off it when we get back to A. If you're going to use the cheater position, or then good old E comes knocking on the door. There's the 7th chord that you're commonly going to play. There's not one to play with this because you don't have any extra fingers to spare. So that's the major chord shape for E, but you can add the 7s in there that help you phrase that. So there's your arp, as you know. You also know the Mixolydian scale. So mix those up a little bit. Kind of get into it a little bit, get a little flavor going. Because then when you go back to your A, it sounds really nice. You notice I threw a little 7th on that A. So you got your major, form 2, minor, form 1, and your E. You can put some Mixolydian. Up here, carrying on. I think you get the system. I'll do one more and kind of get you up in the neck, and you can carry on, and I think you can figure it out. So you got your A, or or A7, depending on how you want to think of it. Let's think of it as A. You got your form 3 over the top. You can hear that sounds nice. Then when you go to your D7, the true one right there would be like this. You're not going to sit there strumming that all day long, but you might grab part of it. And you can see form 2. Hear those notes in there, it really helps. And of course the ARP on that is, we've already seen it down here. For A. The ARP for A7 is that. For D it would be okay, and that would overlay, you'd be doing your form 2. So I play a little bit of ARP, a little bit of scale, a little bit of mixolydian on form 4 even. On the 4 chord you can play a little bit of mixolydian if you want to. Don't be afraid of it. But it really wants to hear that form 2 rip, you know. And a little bit of chord. That gives you a nice D7 thing. And then then your E is that shape. So there's your many ways to go. That's your mixolydian mode for that. You can do the ARP, which we just did for D down here, but it's okay, that covers you for that. One more, you got A up here, nice A major, form 4. The ARP, the scale, you could do major scale. Whatever you want to do. There's a D7 right there. Oh, and that would be form 4. And then you got your D chord there. That one really wants the form. You hear a lot of blues players around town when they go into this. They probably don't know they're playing out of this, but when the 4 chord comes and they're on this, they know enough to. You hear that move a lot. Well, they're just playing the 9th, right? So, but they're still trying to think something around A, and they know that that note sounds good, so they include that when they change chords. They probably don't know why. Because I can see by their faces they're just fishing for a note, but they know from experience that's going to sound good. Well, you don't need to fish. You know it's that chord of the moment, the D7. You're featuring that note, which is that 9th ARP that we've talked about. So they're actually playing that, or they're playing around form 3, overlapping the form 4 over the 1 chord. So form 3, right, that's the overlap. Then the only thing you got left on that is the E7, which is this guy we've already seen for D. And that'll lead you up to the one that you know of E pretty well. So here you have, there's the mixolydian, here's the ARP. That covers you for all those chords, and hopefully if you get to where you can see that immediately, the only thing you got to do, and I'm speaking in time with the drum, is learn to phrase in a way that puts you right in line for the next best note that you would love to play. Good luck.